Hello everybody, this is Logan Holland and we're going to be talking about the etiology of Vibrio cholerae. Vibrio cholerae is a bacteria responsible for the cholera disease. It belongs to the Vibrio genus and is a rod-shaped bacteria with a slight curve in the middle and a long flagella on the end. VibrioCholerae.org has this to say about it. Vibrio cholerae belongs to the family Vibrionaceae. The genus Vibrio comprises gram-negative, mostly curved rods with a length of 1.5 to 2 micrometers and a width of approximately 0.5 micrometers, which have a single polar flagellum. The name Vibrio goes back to the Danish physician and naturalist Otto Frederick Müller, who observed vigorous movements of the vibrios in a water drop during microscopy. The vibrios can be divided into serotypes based on O antigens, like other gram-negative bacteria. The Vibrio cholerae, in particular, is a rod-shaped with a bend in the middle, as we can see in this picture. It has a single polar long flagella, which gives it a high level of motility, allowing it to move and swim about freely in the water, and is between 1.5 and 2.5 micrometers in length. Here's a diagram of the Vibrio cholerae. Some interesting notes about it is the Vibrio cholerae, unlike other bacteria, has its genome divided between 2 chromosomes. Also, unlike other members of the Vibrio genus, the Vibrio cholerae is not halophilic, meaning that it can survive in both salt water and fresh water, while most members of the Vibrio genus are halophilic, meaning that they can only survive in salt water.
Hi, my name is Brianna Mulholland, and I'm going to be talking about cholera, specifically the signs and symptoms, and then the reservoir. The dictionary defines cholera as an infectious and often fatal bacterial disease of the small intestine. It's typically contracted from infected water supplies. And the binomial name is Vibrio cholerae. It can be caused by eating food or drinking water that's contaminated with a Vibrio cholerae. The signs and symptoms of cholera are severe diarrhea, nausea, dehydration, vomiting, low blood pressure, a rapid heart rate, drowsiness, headaches, and a fever. But the most common that people see are severe diarrhea, dehydration, and vomiting. Cholera can cause death because it causes severe watery diarrhea and vomiting. That is what leads to dehydration, and if that's not treated, the dehydration can lead to shock and death within just hours. Cholera is caused when you consume contaminated food or water. The bacteria release a toxin that's commonly known as choleragen in the intestines, which are responsible for the severe diarrhea and vomiting. It's highly unlikely for someone to catch cholera disease from another person that has it by coming into contact with them, so that will not put you at risk of the illness. The causative agent of cholera is transmitted from the reservoir of infection to a susceptible host. The pathogen Vibrio cholerae is spread from water contaminated by the feces of a sick person, poorly treated sewage, inadequate water treatment, or poor sanitation and hygiene. Vibrio cholerae can also be found in brackish rivers and coastal waters. Cholera is really common in Africa and Haiti and places like that because of their poor sanitation and hygiene. Cholera can also be caused by raw and undercooked shellfish that can be caught in contaminated waters. They've seen this in the Gulf of Mexico. Food and drinks that are sold by food vendors, vegetables grown with water containing human waste. It can also be found in foodborne transmission, but the most common reservoir of cholera is water that's contaminated by human feces. And there's an estimated 3 to 5 million cases of cholera that occur each year worldwide.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Loveland, and I will be talking about how cholera is transmitted. Transmission of cholera. Cholera's mode of transmission is the fecal-oral route. A person can get cholera by drinking water or eating food contaminated with cholera bacterium. The pattern of cholera transmission and the onset of epidemics are greatly influenced by the season of the year and the climate. Cold, acidic, dry environments inhibit the migration and survival of Vibrio, whereas warm, monsoon, alkaline, and saline conditions favor. The disease can spread rapidly in areas with inadequate treatment of sewage and drinking water. The disease is not likely to spread directly from one person to another. Therefore, casual contact with an infected person is not a risk for becoming ill. In an epidemic, the source of the contamination is usually the feces of an infected person that contaminates water. In non-endemic areas such as the United States, the microbe is spread by food contaminated by asymptomatic carriers, but is relatively uncommon. Examples of food are shellfish, when eaten raw, undercooked meats, unpeeled fruits, and unpeeled vegetables.
Logan Holland here. We're going to be talking about the treatment and prevention of cholera. Globally, between 3 and 5 million are infected with cholera every year, according to the World Health Organization. The places where cholera is most prevalent are the countries that have higher poverty rates and less accessibility to clean drinking water. Luckily, the treatment for cholera is fairly simple. Oral hydration for mild cases, intravenous hydration for severe cases. When the proper medical procedure is followed, the mortality rate of cholera can be less than 1%, according to the CDC. Unfortunately, large swaths of people are exposed to cholera in places without medical attention, leading to between 100,000 and 120,000 deaths per year from the disease. Cholera can be prevented by using proper sanitation techniques and proper purification of all water. The CDC gives some general guidelines in order to reduce the risk of contracting cholera. 1. Drink and use safe water. 2. Wash your hands often with soap and safe water. 3. Use latrines or bury your feces. Do not defecate in any body of water. 4. Cook food well, especially seafood. Keep it covered, eat it hot, and peel fruits and vegetables. 5. Clean up safely, in the kitchen and in places where the family bathes and washes clothes. 6. Consider getting vaccinated before you travel. And while there is no vaccine that offers 100% protection against cholera, the CDC and World Health Organization offer 3 different recommendations for vaccines. Vaxchora is a single-dose, live oral cholera vaccine. The CDC says that Vaxchora has been reported to reduce the chance of severe diarrhea in people by 90% at 10 days after vaccination and by 80% at 3 months after vaccination. Although it is not known how long protection lasts beyond 3 to 6 months after getting the vaccine. Dukoral is a non-live cholera vaccine, which provides approximately 65% protection for 2 years, while Shanchal is a non-live cholera vaccine that provides approximately 65% protection for up to 5 years. And while there is no vaccine that offers 100% protection, the CDC and World Health Organization recommend these, especially for those traveling outside the United States where cholera is an endemic disease. Using these techniques and medical advances, cholera deaths are dramatically falling worldwide. And now some additional information about cholera. During much of the 19th and early 20th centuries, cholera was one of the most feared diseases and essentially ravaged different societies and countries. The first cholera pandemic occurred in 1817, which affected India, China, Japan, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Madagascar. In India alone, over 10,000 British troops died, along with an estimated 100,000 Indians. In 1858 through 1860, cholera ravaged Tokyo, killing between 100,000 and 200,000 people. In 1854, cholera killed 5.5% of the population of Chicago, or about 3,500 people at that time. In Spain, over 236,000 people died during the cholera epidemic of 1854 through 1855. It is believed that cholera originated in India. From there, it is believed that sailors brought the disease from port to port in their contaminated water barrels and excrements from infected sailors. The disease spread quickly, and by the middle of the 19th century, the disease was all over the globe. As you can see from this map of the cholera pandemic of 1842 to 1862, you can see that cholera penetrated virtually every continent, affected dozens of countries, and killed millions of people. An outbreak that is of particular interest is the Broad Street cholera outbreak. Up to that point, it was believed that cholera and other diseases were caused by miasma particles, or particles which arose from decaying matter or other dirty sources. An epidemiologist at the time, named John Snow, did not believe in the miasma theory, and instead believed that the disease was spread due to the ingesting of tainted water. During the Broad Street outbreak of 1854, John Snow used investigative techniques to isolate the water source that was infecting the inhabitants with cholera. When he removed the handle from the pump of the infected well, cholera cases virtually ceased, and thus he knew that he was correct. This led to improved understanding of how diseases are spread and improved sanitation techniques.